Here's a story you think you know, but you probably don't. In the year 2000, Netflix walked into Blockbuster's headquarters and offered to sell their entire company for $50 million. Blockbuster's executives laughed them out of the room. 10 years later, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. By then, Netflix was worth $3 billion. And the man who said no, he was fired long before he saw the consequences of that decision. But here is the question nobody ever asks. What if Blockbuster wasn't killed by Netflix at all? What if Blockbuster was actually killed by a single decision it made years before Netflix even existed? A decision that felt like pure genius at the time. That's the real story we're telling today. And by the end of it, I guarantee you will see your own industry, your own job, completely differently. Let's rewind. It's 1985. A man named David Cook opens a single video rental store in Dallas, Texas. He calls it Blockbuster. His formula is simple but revolutionary. No late fees, a massive selection of movies, clean aisles, and bright, welcoming lights. It was everything the small, local MOM and pop rental shops were. The idea was a rocket ship. Within just 3 years, Blockbuster had 400 locations. By 1994, Viacom, one of the biggest media companies on the planet, acquired Blockbuster for an astonishing $8.4 billion. At its absolute peak, Blockbuster had 9,000 stores, 60,000 employees, and served 65 million registered customers worldwide. Think about that. They weren't just a video store. They were a cultural institution. They were a core part of the infrastructure of American life. They were, for millions of people, Friday night itself. So how did they get so dominant, so fast? It came down to 3 things: scale, data, and real estate. Blockbuster was big enough to strike exclusive revenue-sharing deals with Hollywood studios that smaller competitors could never dream of. They used their massive rental database to know exactly which movies to stock in which neighborhoods, based on local tastes and rental patterns. And they planted their stores everywhere, deliberately placing them within a 10-minute drive of most American homes. They didn't just sell convenience, they engineered dependency. You didn't just want to go to Blockbuster, you had to. But there was a hidden engine powering all of this growth, one that nobody at the company liked to talk about publicly. Late fees. That's right, the very thing they started out by eliminating. At the height of their operation, late fees generated 16% of Blockbuster's total annual revenue. That was roughly $800 million a year. $800 million extracted from customers who were already loyal, already paying, already walking through the door. Blockbuster wasn't just a movie company. They were, in large part, a penalty business. And that one distinction is what breaks everything. Enter Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix. He has said publicly, many times, that the entire idea for Netflix was born from a frustrating personal experience, a $40 late fee for a misplaced copy of Apollo 13. He built a whole new company out of that one single feeling of being punished. His model was the anti-Blockbuster. No due dates, no penalties, just a flat monthly subscription for DVDs delivered by mail. So, in 2000, when Hastings approached Blockbuster CEO John Antioco to partner up or sell the company, Antioco dismissed them as a niche business, and to be fair, at that moment, he wasn't entirely wrong. Netflix only had 300,000 subscribers. Blockbuster had 65 million customers. But what Antioco completely missed was the mechanism. Netflix wasn't just selling a more convenient way to watch movies. It was selling the removal of punishment. It was selling freedom from that awful feeling of being penalized. That is a completely different and much more powerful emotional product. Then came 2004. John Antioco, to his credit, made a genuinely bold move. He launched Blockbuster Online, a direct competitor to Netflix. And he did the unthinkable. He eliminated late fees entirely, across the entire company. Analysts were stunned. Customers loved it and started coming back. The turnaround plan was actually working. And then the board of directors fired him. They fired him for spending too much money on the very strategy that was saving the company. His replacement, a man named Jim Kise, said in 2008, and this is a real direct quote, "I don't see Netflix as a competition." The very same year he said that, Netflix introduced streaming. Blockbuster spent its final years being reactive, underfunded, and always one step behind. They tried to launch their own streaming service, but it was too little too late. They tried pivoting to a game rental model. They courted investors who never showed up. Finally, in 2010, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. In 2013, The last of the corporate-owned stores closed their doors for good. Today, just one single Blockbuster store remains. It's in Bend, Oregon. It operates as a kind of museum, a tourist attraction, and a monument to a very specific kind of corporate blindness. But here's why this isn't just a history lesson. This story is happening all around us, right now. Spotify is doing to radio what Netflix did to Blockbuster. Amazon is doing to traditional retail what Blockbuster's scale once did to those local MOM and pop shops. And right now, at this very moment, there are countless companies generating huge profits from friction, from customer confusion, from hidden fees, from penalties, and from simple inertia. And every single one of them is just one elegant competitor away from total collapse. Studies show that 72% of consumers will switch brands permanently after a single experience they perceive as unfair. Blockbuster was charging for that feeling of unfairness 800 million times a year. The pattern repeats. It always repeats. So here are the 3 things you need to take away from this. 1. Revenue that is built on customer frustration is just borrowed time. It is not a sustainable business model. 2. The company that eventually kills you is rarely the one you're actively watching. It's the one that's quietly solving the problem you decided to monetize. And 3. The boldest internal fix, the smartest turnaround plan, means absolutely nothing if the institution punishes the person who is trying to execute it. John Antioco saw the future. He just didn't survive long enough in his own company to finish building it. So I'll leave you with this open question. What frustration are you, or your company, currently charging people for? And who, right now, is quietly building the company that completely removes it? If this story made you think differently about a business you interact with every day, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want the next story in this series, the next deep dive into a massive failure you thought you understood, make sure you subscribe, because the next one is even harder to look away from. Thanks for watching.